Where my Jin at? Time for me to be wrong. There's Jin. Yep, so we got that. And we got that. So I went through and... Hey, Loris. I went through and I made... thumbnails for all the 2-class combos. Thumbnails for all the single-class combos. It just occurred to me... Hey, Clopper. There might actually have been portrait thumbnails in the forum or something. But whatever. Alright, so I am going to probably put this on YouTube. Depends on how it goes, right? So, yeah. Oh man, Sino's coming. Alright, so, the last time I believe I did a tier list for this game, I believe it was 2017. It was very soon after Ashes of Malmoth came out. And I think Sino actually helped with that. And we both kind of came up with tier lists on our own. But, you know, time passed and I kind of set Grim Daniel down for a while. And, didn't pick it up again until more recently, and I've gotten way back into the game. So I decided yesterday that we should do some form of tier listing. Now, here are some key points about making tier lists, at least in my eyes. Since Grim Dawn is a single-player game, I don't view this as a competitive tier list. I view this more as a educational tool to help give some sort of visual and information. You have been summoned, Sino. And 21 months, aren't you proud you put your money into that? Anyways, I view a tier list in this case as more of an educational tool. I view it more as an information dump. And it's more about helping people figure out the pitfalls and the possibilities of their individual masteries and their dual classes they may pick up. So I have both single and dual classes ready. And for the single classes, I have a couple little notes. The first one being that overall, like, power is going to be a factor pretty much in everything, but also, like, ease of gearing, so low gear dependency is a plus. For dual classes, synergy is a plus, and, I don't know why I'm talking about dual classes already, but yeah, synergy is a plus, and gearing, and ease of play, and power, and there's a lot that goes into my views of a tier list, not just power, right? But for single classes, yeah, it's quality of the mastery itself, and then it's quality with how it mixes with other classes. So we're gonna start at the bottom here and work our way up. So even though on this tier list I have S through D, I don't think there is an S tier mastery, and I don't think there's a D tier mastery. But I put those in for people who would maybe want to have that in there if they choose to use this template in the future. I personally think it is a B, and C tier, and there are 3 classes per tier. So in C tier, we're going to start with the Occultist. And the Occultist, I don't think is the worst mastery, but I'm starting with the Occultist because it was the first of the 3 C tiers that my mouse is near. So, The Occultist. Its damages are Chaos, Poison, and Vitality. That immediately sort of limits it in its class combinations. Additionally, its abilities are kind of more oriented towards very specific builds, because you get things like Doombolt and Sigil, and then you have things like Pets. But then you also have like Dreeg's Evil Eye, which is its only like build around attack ability, really. I mean, yeah, you can build around Doombolt, but that requires heavy gearing. So for me, also with the class combinations for the Occultist, you have some really good ones like Conjurer and Witchblade, but then you have some not so good ones like Warlock and I guess Pyro's average. But yeah, I would definitely start here with the Occultist. The Shaman I also think is probably C tier. Mostly because I don't know what the mastery on its own like brings to the table for a lot of combinations. OA and DA are low in there. Build around abilities, you do have Savagery, but Primal Strike is almost a non-issue, and everything else to me is a support ability. So you have the Tornadoes, and you have the Totems. Alrighty, bad opinions. Great. So you have a lot of support in there, but like I think it's just like if Primal Strike were a one-handed ability, or if it were bigger, or if it did more, I'd probably actually take the entire class and shift it up to the B tier. And also, I am going off of some maybe older thoughts on the class, but yeah, I would definitely say it's in the lower third, along with the Demolitionist. Now, I could probably argue the Demolitionist being the weakest tree right now. All of it is bombs. All the bombs have travel time. The travel time feels long on every one of them. The resistance reduction is on thermite mines, which take forever to deploy. It does provide OA and DA. It doesn't provide health. It doesn't have a self-heal. It does have blast shield. It does have total speed. Okay, yeah, Jin, that is true. But that's just a pat build. You gotta remember, I'm also in my head like thinking of like an Occultist Arcanist build, and yeah, you can make that. You can make Warlocks, but are Warlocks S tier? Probably not. And of course, chat, if you have opinions, feel free to share them, and I'll take them into account and redo my thinking. Anyways, yeah, I think Demo is probably the weakest tree right now, even though I do really enjoy playing a Sorcerer. I would say it's one of its drawing features is it actually has some good synergies damage-wise, and things like the Commando, maybe the Shield Breaker could pop off. But a lot of those class combos you could probably do better to just jump over to Inquisitor. So B tier, I'd start with the Arcanist. I think the Arcanist is the most average tier in the game. It has a lot of good things, but it lacks that critical thing, and that's resource reduction. Yeah, okay, we're going to get to the dual classes. I might just skip the single trees because I'm annoyed right now. All of the classes can be strong. That's not the point. If everything is strong, why am I doing this then? Because the whole point about like a tier list is to say, yeah, it can be made good, but you're going to have to go through this laundry list of steps to get there. So yeah, you can argue any class is good. You can argue any class is bad. You can build them good and build them bad. But remember, we have to sit and say, how much work will it take you to make that class good? Anyways, B tier, I would put the Arcanist, because I think it combines well with everything except the Battle Mage, which is the worst class in the game, but we'll get to that. No, I know, Jin, but I'm just saying that I'm going to put reasons out there. You can counter them But like I'm not like just pulling this out of my ass. I've thought about this for like a weekend. I've thought about this for days and days and days, trying to make my sorcerer work. Put it above B tier too. Oh, wouldn't put it above B tier. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like talking about individual abilities yet. Like self-healing on the Occultist requires you to hit enemies. Something like the Nightblade or the Inquisitor just gets that. Oh no, it has blood. What am I talking about? So yeah, it can self-heal. That's a big advantage. But yeah, just let me finish the tier list too, and then we can start adjusting. So yeah, Arcanist I think is just capped in average. If it had resistance reduction, I'd actually put it higher up. But yeah, I find it very like just very average. You have build around abilities, Mirror and Sphere for protection, OA, energy regen, casting speed, attack speed even now with Reckless Power. So it has a little bit of everything, but it doesn't like excel anywhere. And really AAR I think is the strongest ability now, which is very weird to say. And the other abilities are kind of, well, average. So I'd also throw the Nightblade in here, probably in front of the Arcanist. Yeah. Great evasion. Pretty much like 2 or 3 damage types. But you can, with those damage types, hop over to like, if you're going Pierce, you can go to like Soldier, Demo, Inquisitor. Wait, Inquisitor does Pierce, right? Oathkeeper. Like you can do your physical stuff, you can do your acid stuff, you can do your cold stuff, and you'll find support for all of that in other trees. Now, the reason I would jump it down from A tier to B tier is it's kind of like kinked, right? So it's like it's cold damage you're dealing. It's not elemental you're dealing. So if you're going over to a Saboteur, you might have a harder time running that. And then you have like poison acid damage in this class. And it's like, that's kind of a, like, it is a Necromancer thing, but it's like, you're not going to run like Aether really, right? Unless you get weird gear. And that's why it's knocked down a little bit. And then we have the Necromancer. Really, it doesn't matter the order in the tier list. Necromancer pretty much is like the Occultist, but better. Because while it does have specific builds and things, I think the classes it combines into are way stronger. They're above average, I would say. They're stronger. But the things it doesn't combine with are way weaker. So it kind of averages out the class to me. And in top tier, we have Inquisitor, Oathkeeper, and Soldier. Basically, all of these classes combine with everything really well, except the Soldier with the Arcanist. I mean, you could probably argue maybe something in these, otherwise in these three is weak. But, yeah, I would definitely say they're all in the upper third. I don't know the Inquisitor and Oathkeeper as well as I do the other classes, though. So specifics are a little hazy. So, chat, what changes should I make? And let me hear your reasoning. And Sino, I'd like to know your opinion, too. And I mean, really, I don't think there's an order in here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Oathkeeper is just incredibly strong, incredibly well designed, fills in a lot of roles, combines easily with everything. Lots of self-heal. But to me, it doesn't have like OA and DA readily available. You can get a lot of health out of it. You can get some resistances out of it. But to me, it's more of a support class. Like, I almost think of it like a... Because, like, you're going in there for your tornadoes. Like, if you're going in there from another class, I don't know if you're going to build around it. Yeah, that's another thing. Is, like, Shaman, you could argue, like, Druids are really good. They're, like, upper B tier, lower A tier. Put Arcanist in C tier for lack of RR. Okay, but does Mirror and Sphere and Inner Focus make up for all that? I guess I could see Arcanist being in the C tier. Because of no RR. But, and this is something that we'll cover when I start talking about the Battle Mage, every other class, I think, except Arcana Soldier, all the other class combos to it can get their resistance reduction going. Even a Sorcerer. Fabric of Reality being Fabric of Reality. Yeah, that is a good point. Arcane Will and Fabric of Reality do kind of give it a knockdown. Shaman is just Wendigo Totem and Primal Strike is sick. You're not wrong. And hey, War Boss NFO. We are doing at least the starts of a tier list. I'm looking for more opinions. Because, yeah, there are a lot of good builds across all the trees. Yeah, Clobber, but you have to be using Savagery. You can get OA and DA passively from the Demolitionist. So does that mean I should move Demolitionist up? Alright, so Sino's take. So that's Sino's take. Alright. I wish I could do your voice, Sino, because I would do it. Soldier can do literally anything. I'm presently making a cadence build with every melee weapon in the game. Like, how is that not S tier? Nightblade is very solid on it, especially with Blade Spirit improvements in all the sets that it has going forward, as well as plenty of non-set options. Shaman's issue is that has always been massive OA and DA issues with crit-centric mastery. Primal Strike's fallen extremely far off the radar. Yeah, he's more spread out than I am. Hey, Pikachu-san. Yeah, that's all sensible to me. Gotcha. Yeah, I agree, Jin. That's my main issue with it, is you have to be using Savagery and you have to be maintaining Savagery to keep it going. Like I said, Demolitionist gets that for free. It's just passive OA and DA now. What else we got here? Yeah. I see, if we were going to spread this out into S and D, I would probably be more like I'd probably actually have it more like this, maybe. Simply because, like, these three, the Inquisitor, Soldier, and Oathkeeper, can all just combine with everything really, really well, except the Arcanist in the Soldier's case. Nightblade's just a really solid mastery, but like I said, what keeps it out of like the top of top tier is everything is a little kinked. It's a little rhombusy, right? It's a little like doesn't quite fit in the square peg. And then we have I still think the Arcanist is just Captain Average. Necro is like a better Occultist, and then these two are just in a little bit of a mess. Yeah. When we get to doing the dual classes, Jin, you'll see that I still think the you'll see I still think that the stuff that combines with Oathkeeper is actually really high. Are we going to jump to that now? Would you like to jump to that now? Should I make any other tweaks to this little list? Yeah, and part of the reason I wasn't going to go S tier and D tier was, I mean, like there is a level of like, since every mastery on its own can be brought really high, shouldn't be that high up. It's not like perfect support, but solo class sucks. I'm not counting. Well, I guess. Yeah, I can see that. Pet build with Oathkeeper in it. I don't know. I know it's got pets that scale with player bonuses, so you can always do that. Yeah, that's Sino's list. Yeah, so like solo classes, like what's part of what I said at the beginning was the quality of the abilities in the class itself, but not building the class as a solo class, because Grim Dawn's not designed around that. So like if you look at the individual abilities, like, and what they offer all of the other classes, I think the Inquisitor would be in the A tier, just because, like, I think everything can combo with it to get support. Hey T Arnold, and hey, Snydenther, you were in my chat yesterday, correct? And I didn't say your name out loud. I believe I was screeching over having terrible bosses in Shattered Realm. So part of it is like the quality of the individual abilities factoring into the dual classes, which is why I keep Arcanist in B tier, because its individual abilities, specifically Mirror and Sphere, provide a lot to every build that goes to Arcanist. And then you do get the support from Reckless Power and Star Pact. And then you can build around a lot of its abilities, even though some of them are ho-hum right now, like Panetti's and Calidor's. And I actually think the two biggest things that would keep Arcanist out of S and A tier would be lack of resistance reduction and the fact that Electra's Flash Freeze is like a meme ability. I think I've seen one build actually use it in all of my build hunting I did over the weekend. Yeah. I like Sino's list too. It's you can kind of see trends in it about what's higher up, what's lower down, but I'd have these two swapped. I'll do the save download later. Yeah. We've also got this now. So, does anyone else want to throw down on the tier list opinions? Win Occultist over Arcanist. That's fair. A self-heal and resistant. Like, those are two of the things Arcanist is lacking, is a self-heal and resistance reduction. So what if we did like this? Just ignore the D tier. Kick Occultist up to these two because it can self-heal. Has on-the-spot resistant shred. It's your premier pet class. Like, really it is. What's wrong with Demo? So, Demolitionist right now is a very clunky class. All of its abilities are bombs that have a travel time. Its only resistance reduction is on thermite mines, which have a time to enemy, and then they have that like flower animation. You do get some really great support abilities because Flame Touched and Temper give you OA and DA. Blast Shield is great for what it is. Vindictive Flame is basically a total speed buff, but there's other stuff in there. Fire Strike is really good. That is one thing. That's what I would say is its main redeeming ability. But like, it is also I will be honest, it is also good at shredding OA and DA, because both Blackwater Cocktail and Flashbang are really good support abilities. But I would say that for building around a Demolitionist with any other combination and staying on the Demolitionist side as your main abilities, you start to run into some problems, because you're going to probably end up building Fire Strike. Or you're going to have to get very specific gear to run very specific builds. Like a bomb build probably requires like Ulzin set and some other stuff. Stunjax doesn't have weapon damage, which brings with it a liability. I don't think it can get weapon damage from anything, but I might be wrong on that. It might be on a single piece of gear somewhere I'm just not thinking of. So as a spamming mid-range ability, you sort of lose a bit of sustain with that, right? I'm just full screening this in Discord, so I can still see the menu bar and jump between things, but you guys won't see it, especially for the dual class stuff. Yeah, I'd ask you if you want to be on the call, Sino, but you don't want to be on a call, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I don't know, Shaman has too many strong spells to be D for me. Vit totems are great. Lightning totems are great. Wind Devil's built properly. Shred. Savagery can be played with Physical Bleed, Lightning, Vit. Primal Strike, while weak, is still strong with Vindicator. Swarm is stupidly strong RR Shred. Issue with melee. Sorc Strike is melee's kind of too, it sucks. Fire Strike and Aura should have at least B tier despite lacking a lot. So half an hour or so. Well, I was gonna be in this for like the long haul. Like, this is gonna be my entire stream. My entire stream tonight. Eyeballing, centering it. See, because to me, like, the auras are great in Demolitionist, but if we just went by that, like, all of the classes provide stuff like that. Because you get things like Myvan's Sphere and Iskandras in the Arcanist. You get Mugdragon's Pact in Shaman. Hell, that would mean, like, should technically lower Necromancer because Spectral Binding was only for, like, Aether, Vit, and Physical. But even then, that's still good. And then, like, you get amazing auras and toggle passives in the top 4 classes I've listed here. So I think that the demos are good, but, like, the soldiers are good too. But the soldier has better abilities, I think. Because the soldier has, you know, Field Command, which basically is Flame Touched and Temper. If that makes sense. Yeah, and Jin listed a bunch of really good abilities why Shaman wouldn't be dropped down the D tier. Because while I did say, like, actually I think the Shaman and Demo have the same problem, is that if you're taking a class and getting the Demo or Shaman as your second class, they're really strong. If you're building around Shaman or Demolitionist, I think it's harder to play them. Like, if you're going to another class to play, you know, a bomb build or a Primal Strike build or a Savage build, like, I think it's harder to play Shaman or Demo main than it is to get them as supports. But yeah, the sheer amount of stuff that the Shaman brings to the table to, like, a Druid, right? That would be... I just realized I can take this entire thing and probably make it really, really big. Here, hang on. Let's go like that. How's this tab look? Okay. Yeah, I should have been paying attention because we made it square, right? So, make it a little smaller. So Twitch chat blocks some of that, but that should be fine. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing, is a Purifier, I'm actually going to rate that really high when we get to the dual classes, because it's a really solid combination of abilities. And like Jin says, sometimes you end up with a synergy in certain classes that can take a class, that can take something on my lower end of this tier list and throw it up into the S tier. Like, spoiler alert, I think the Arcanist Necromancer is probably S tier. Especially right now, still. Even after it was nuked with a buff. Or a nerf. It was absolutely just orbital bombardment just destroyed it. I'd still say it's really strong. So it's like an S tier, A tier thing. Even though both my classes for it are listed in B tier. Just as an example of classes shoring up the weaknesses of each other to be strong. Kind of dual classes is more important anyway. Okay. And yeah, there's some, like, C knows there's some subjectiveness to these things too. So, yeah, there is that. All right. Dual classes. So, for the dual classes... Oh, by the way, I'm going to probably throw this on YouTube if it goes all right. So I had to sort of repeat myself a little bit here. So, part of a tier list in Grim Dawn is we are not trying to determine what is great and what sucks, to ridicule what sucks and celebrate what's great. This is more of an educational tool so that we can point out things like why a battle mage is hard to play, and that anyone who would maybe want to play a battle mage would have a better understanding of getting into that class. Things to take into account are the synergies between the two trees, how easy it is to gear the variety of builds in there, and the build variety in that class. Because if the class combo doesn't have any build variety, then, I mean, it's not going to be high in the tier list. I am also, of course, going to take into account just raw power, because that is still a thing. Though, if something is like, this can handle X level of Shattered Realm, this cannot. That's not going to be a huge determining factor in the overall equation that's in my brain over what is and is not super strong. So, we're going to start with the Sorcerer, which we're going to stick at the very center of the B list. The reason we're starting with the Sorcerer is it is the class I know the most about. Power, survivability, variety, that's a good mix. An ease of play, I would say. An ease of gearing. So, I'm sticking the Sorcerer in the B tier. The reason it's in the B tier is it does alright. It's strong. There's a variety of builds, but a little tricky to gear. You're going to see the word Warp Fire a lot. You're going to see Fate Weaver's Raiment a lot. Or you're going to see the words Aldernar's Vanity a lot. So the gearing, somewhat specific, but not super specific. It's got okay survivability. You can do a variety of builds. It's not brokenly powerful. It's what I would call like a B+. Yeah, it's going to graduate high school, but like it might become a manager at a Dairy Queen. But it's not going to be like, you know, shooting off to Hollywood to be the greatest actor ever known. It's not going to be president. Sorcerer, you're never going to see President Sorcerer. You're going to see day manager Sorcerer. But that's okay. I'm not mocking that. That's completely fine. Because they would be an awesome manager. So yeah. The class that I like the most, I would say, is fine. So, as an example of a bad class, we're just going to get this out of the way. This is the only class that's going in the E tier, by the way. E tier, might as well say Battle Mage. Because, yeah, like, that's the thing, is like, the Elemental resistance reduction and the Aether resistance reduction on Thermite Mine and Hellfire Mine synergize there. Oh man, I'd love to see what your other E tier is, Sino. Wait, let me try to guess. Warlock. Warlock and C. Okay. That's just going to be my guess. So, Saboteur. Oh, okay. Saboteur is in my D tier? I put Saboteur in C tier. So, the reason we're putting Battle Mage in the E tier, the reason is our only E tier class, is because it doesn't do anything. There's no resistance reduction in the Arcanist, and there's no relevant resistance reduction in the Soldier. So that's the giantest hole in this combination, is enemies are going to take forever to kill no matter what you're doing. You also have zero build synergy, because the Soldier is all physical. The Arcanist is all elemental and Aether. Yes, you can get Cadence turned into those, but that's pretty irrelevant, honestly. There is a set that goes with the Battle Mage Krieg set, but Death Knights run it better. You also do have Spell Scourge, but that's a meme set. in all honesty. And honestly, I would want to run it on anything but the Battle Mage that could handle doing physical devastations. So I can't think of a single redeeming point with the Battle Mage. I don't think it has builds. I don't think it has strengths. I think it's all weaknesses. If someone said, you know, James, you should make a challenge build, I would just make a Battle Mage. Or I'd just play my Battle Mage. Because I've had a Battle Mage for a really long time. And it worked once. It worked when Kriegset was super OP. And I know at the very start of doing this whole tier list, from the start, I know I said it's going to be more positive, it's going to be educationally oriented, informationally oriented, and I wasn't going to say, like, I wasn't going to have it be, oh, that thing sucks and let's laugh at it. That's the Battle Mage, though. And I legitimately cannot put forth any arguments, any bullet points. I can't really put forth anything to make the class better. Because, like, give the Arcanist resistance reduction. That's it. That's all I can think of. Because that would just help the Arcanist. And by extension, help the Battle Mage. I don't know, rework Fabric of Reality. Rework, Oh, there's Xenos. Glad you're enjoying my tier list, too. I should link that in chat. Yeah, actually, Sino, one or two aside, they're actually pretty close. Gone below A tier since early access. No, Commando has always been. Let's continue the school references and the life references. The Commando has always been like the captain of the basketball team that you could maybe see going collegiate, but wouldn't make it into the NBA. Like, he got a scholarship to college off that. Actually, we should just start going down the list in order of classes as they're presented in the game. Aside from these two, because, you know, Sorcerer's my favorite, so we have to get it out of the way. So Commando, I would definitely say is A tier. It's always been A tier. It's never been broken, but it's always been strong. My first character ever was a Commando. It synergizes with itself great. You can build a variety of abilities in both classes. The Soldier shores up the weaknesses of the Demolitionist. The upgrades they've given Demolitionist can really help with elemental builds. You can run Fire Strike, Cadence. You can run Physical. You can run Fire. You can run Bombs. You can run basically everything in here in this combination. It's always been solid. It's always been just I recommend Commandos to new players. Like, you can just build so many fun things in there. Like, I've always my first build recommendation when I started playing Grim Dawn to other people way back in early access was Blackwater Cocktail Commandos. And I could still recommend that build even. It's always just been a very solid combination. It's the combination I think every class wants to be, if I'm being honest. Hell, like, it should be almost a legacy S tier. Just because it's been in the A tier for so long and it's been that solid, I could see it being jumped up to S tier just on that merit alone. but we're not going to do that because that would be weird, right? So next up would be a Soldier Nightblade. So Blade Masters, I would also say, are A tier. Because the Blade Master, again, it does everything that the Commando does, but slightly different. You got really great defenses, really solid builds, really solid gearing. It's just another really solid combination. Where'd you put it, Zeno? Oh, yeah. Exactly. Like, it's just always been, like, I wouldn't say it's always been good. Like, the Commando, I think I would keep in front of it, simply for that fact. I think the Commando is probably top of the A tier. It's like an A+ tier. But the Battle Mage, it used to be kind of ho-hum, and then it got better. It got better in Ashes, and it stayed better. So yeah, I would definitely say it is in the A tier as well. Soldier Occultist. So Soldier Occultist, I would debate putting it in the A tier or upper B tier. I think it straddles the line between these two. So chat, I'm going to consensus you. Yeah, I'll YouTube this. Don't worry about it. Struck 2. I need consensus on this. Should I put Witchblade in B tier or A tier? Because I've always found it to be just really good, but B tier. I've always found it to be really good, but not like as good as these two. Because you can make strong builds out of it, and you can build a lot of the abilities in there. Pretty much every ability, I think. You could do Dreegs. I could see Dreegs. You could do lots of chaosy crap. I have a Blade Arc Witchblade. He just throws everything around. Yeah, that actually, Jin, is a good way to look at it. Because I think that so we have 2 A tiers, 2 B tiers, and Jin following the logic I have, in that it kind of reminds me of like Blade Master, kind of reminds me of Commando, but I think Blade Master and Commando are better. So yeah, I would put it in lower A tier, upper B tier. I would almost want to put a G tier on the list, but I don't want to bash the Battle Mage that bad. Let's see Sino's opinion. Yeah. I think it's straddling that line. These are also, I'm probably going to order them with the top on this side, bottom on this side. We already did Soldier Arcanist. I think it's the worst class combo in the game. Probably by a mile. I really just can't find anything redeeming in there. It's probably your hardest class combo to play, build. It's slow, it's clunky. Death Knights do everything, in my opinion, better. And if you want to focus on the Arcana side, you could just do everything. Yeah, I also have to point out, B tier is not bad. Anything that is, because C tier is average. A tier is like 80%, 90%, right? We're going almost off of the American grading system, where S is an A+, and that means you're 100%. Also, like, one of the rules for S tier is, like, there are no discernible weaknesses, and you can start peeling away the weaknesses to C tier. Or you can look at C tier as being perfectly legitimately average, and then you sort of shore up the averageness to get it better and better as we go up. I'm not taking into account hardcore, Sarok. Yeah, and pushing higher SRs is a factor, but I don't want this to just be the elitists of Grim Dawn tier list. This is a tier list for, like, everyone, right? I mean, I know I just said I'm not doing hardcore, but hardcore is its own special thing. So I'm not really counting it. But you can use, there should be the link for it. You can use the tier list. It's going to be public. You can use this to make your own tier lists. Yeah, I mean, it's fair to bring up hardcore if you want, Sarok. And I'll take that into account. I will take that into account. But the tier list is going to be for, like, softcore and, like, your gen pop of Grim Dawn. Yeah, if we start strictly taking only hardcore into account, like, it's an entirely different game. And also, like, again, build variety is a factor. So I would actually say that the Witchblade has slightly less variety than a Blade Master or a Demolitionist or a Commando. All right, so Death Knights. I'd probably put Death Knight here. Oh, wait, no. We're not doing Death Knight yet. What am I doing? Warders. Where do I have Warder listed? I had Warder listed in the B tier. But low on the B tier. What's Sino got going on with this thing? C tier? But I'm not committing to B tier on it. This is one of the ones that I would put a question mark next to. And I would like you guys to help me reason it out. So we can go, I think it's going to be B or C. I think it's maybe straddling the B minus C plus area. Because while it is potentially really strong, I think the Shaman's more push towards elemental maybe drops it down a bit. It's almost like a battle mage, but this is what the battle mage wants to be. But it still has all of the problems of battle mage. In terms of synergy and build variety. But I think it just does the sort of melee mage thing better. Conjurer and Vindicator can do lightning builds better than Warder, so below those two on that front. Yeah, Conjurer and Vindy are going really high on the list. Now, we can also change these things later if something new comes up. So I can just dump something that I'm like, I don't know where to put this into the C tier because it's the average section. I don't know the specifics because we'll hammer these out. And like I said, I would really like you guys to keep the opinions coming. But the Vindy I have on my list as A tier, and the Conjurer I have as A tier as well. You can see Warders in C tier, to be honest. So physical Warders are lacking RR from the combo, but the lightning variations are actually pretty strong. Also has very strong lightning retaliation build if that's what you want. And also, overall, I think C tier works. Just like everything with very specific gear and builds, they can do a ton. Overall, they get pigeonholed. So yeah, I could see C tier. I'll keep them on the front of C tier, though. And Death Knights I'd probably put there, too. Because Death Knights can be really, really, really good. But I'd actually say the same logic behind me putting the Warder here compared to the Battle Mage is the same logic applied to the Death Knight. Because the Death Knight is what the Battle Mage wants to be, but it still has similar synergy problems. B tier. Though, actually, the Death Knight does have physical resistance reduction, and that could just jump it up. And that's like a really rare reduction to get, right? Then you also can combine in Mark of Torment. With the defenses of the soldier. And you have weapon pool skills. And let's face it, it's probably... You got the Krieg set to throw in there. You have the Vitality Death Knight. Okay, actually, put it in B tier. You have 2 sets supporting it. You can still build pretty much everything, I think. But it's not going to be, like, crazy overpowered. B, probably even high B because of the first build variety with Kriegs. Kriegs, but not higher. Okay, I'd put DK in B, probably even high B because of the first build variety with Krieg, but not higher because you really only have a couple Aether builds and a couple Fizz builds that are really good. That is true. The Death Knight is a very, very beginner-friendly class because of the freebie set you can farm up. I think DKs are actually pretty strong, mostly because you can do whatever you want with cadence, dual wield melee, 2-hand cadence, dual wield range cadence. So what you're saying, Jin, is cadence is really strong with the Death Knight? I don't know if I'd call that build variety, though. Well, you can also do, like, the Bone Wave Death Knight, and you do have a Vitality build with it. So yeah, I'd put it in B tier. Tactician. Tactician. What'd you do, Sino? A. I don't know if it should be an S tier. A tier. I was going to say high A tier. Just because I find the class combo very, very strong. And you're combining the Soldier, which is one of the strongest classes to combine with other things except the Battle Mage, with the Inquisitor, which is one of the strongest classes to combine with other things. So you get just this really strong combination of it just works because it's like heavy on the supporting itself thing. Does that make sense? Let's just get that out of the way. Oathkeeper. Yeah, it's very strong and flexible. Low gear threshold. Just it works. It's always worked. I actually think in our Sino, I may be misremembering, but I think in our old list the S tier had Tactician in it. Yeah, Warlord is just S tier. Just we're throwing it up. It's just too fucking good. Yeah, there's lots of build variety with the Tactician in there too. Also, Oathkeeper combos are what I need the most help with outside of Warlord. I legitimately have no personal knowledge of playing the Oathkeeper classes, and I have minimally looked up guides for Oathkeepers. Okay. I only have a vague recollection of that tier list, and like it was during the Rise of the Spellbinders. And I was like, Spellbinders are S tier, they're too goddamn good together. And I think people are like, I don't know if I agree with that, James. And I was like, you'll see, you'll all see. And I was waving like a stick on the corner, and I was wearing like a ratty robe, and my beard was really long and gray. Anyways, moving along. Yeah, just Warlords. I already know Warlords are stupid strong. I can't give the reasons for it, but I know that they're stupid strong. Yeah, it just is whatever build you can build within the Soldier or Oathkeeper, that together is just redonkulous. All right, so that's all of the Soldier combos. So we need the demo combos now. So it would be Demo Nightblade, the Saboteur is next. And Demo Nightblade, I would probably put in the D tier. insofar as it's better than a battle mage, but still not that impressive. Granted, you do have a new set for it in the form of Haroset. I don't know if Haroset's that good, though. There's such a disconnect between the two classes, and there's always been a disconnect between the two classes that have always kept the Saboteur down. Now, you can build it strong, but I legitimately cannot think of a build off the top of my head in Forgotten Gods that is like, woo. I think way back in the day there was like a tri-elemental Saboteur that could shred, but this guy right now is it's just not that good. That being said, like it is elemental between the two classes, so you have some ways to force gearing and cold fire strike builds for Saboteur. Yeah, exactly. You can run fire strike with dual wielding weapon pool skills. Shadow strike hits really hard, but like the set for Saboteurs is Horror's Artifice, and I was like, oh my god, I want to build that for a sorcerer, and I turned out I didn't like it. I think actually a Spellbreaker would run that way better. So yeah, it's one of the harder class combos to play. I also think you're fairly squishy, to be honest. Even though you do have like Pneumatic Burst and its abilities. Where do you get armor in this class combo? Oh, right. Phantasmal armor. Yeah, I just think whatever you'd want to do in either of these classes, it's one of those situations where like I could see building better Nightblade based classes in other class combos. Same thing with the Demolitionist. So I think it would be really hard to build a character with this setup. And I mean, to talk about the Haroset again, it's for Stunjacks and Phantasmal Blades in this combination, and you're not going to run those together. In all honesty, you're picking one or the other, and Stunjacks is kind of It can be really powerful, and Phantasmal Blades is fine, can be really powerful. But I would rather run Stunjacks on a Sorcerer or a Commando. I'd rather run Phantasmal Blades on a Spellbreaker or a Trickster. So yeah, I think it's one of those like a mix of non-synergy with lack of gear really hampers the Saboteur. Exactly, Jen. You can use Light's Defender with Stunjacks already. And on the classes that can run that, like Purifiers, I'd even say Elementalists. Sorcerers. Why isn't it E tier? Because that's the Battle Mage tier. And only the Battle Mage goes in the E tier. So, the thing that keeps the Saboteur out of the E tier is that it is not a Battle Mage. Exactly, Jen. You can make a build, maybe 2. Maybe 3. I'll give you 3 builds. Just because there's probably something out there that hasn't been discovered yet. Alright, so, Demo Occultist, the Pyromancer, I would probably say is C tier. I think it's always been kind of C tier, except for that one time dual wielding guns was super strong. And I don't even know if that's a build still. There's kind of a non-synergy here, but there is also kind of a synergy here. I think the conduits maybe could enable more pyromancers. But ultimately, I would say it has good builds, it has gear, but it doesn't have like crazy powerful builds, and I wouldn't say it's super easy to gear, but it's not bad. To continue the... Yeah, Pyro Gunslinger was really good. I remember it being really good. I remember seeing people fight Mog Dragon with that build. I can't think of any other builds, though. Unfortunately. Good RR Shred. Yeah, it's... To continue the life analogies, like, the Pyromancer... If the Sorcerer is the manager at Dairy Queen, the Pyromancer is working at that Dairy Queen his entire life. And he drew, like, lots of flames in his notebooks at school, but never really paid attention. Perfectly middle ground individual. Yeah, Zolnite. I don't know if you saw at the top of the tier list I was doing here, but I called the Sorcerer, like, a manager at Dairy Queen. And I said that there's nothing wrong with that, but that was just my analogy for it. You were here. Oh, okay, okay. Just making sure. Yeah, I would say it's average. It's just I can't think of anything that would really jump it up a couple tiers. Let's see what Sino says. Hey, look at that. Average. All right, we did the demo Arcanist, so now we have the demo Shaman. So the demo Shaman Elementalist, I would probably put it on the low end of the C tier. See, that's the thing, Jin, is like, there's a lot of synergy here with lightning. And that can be really strong. But there's nothing that's, like, overwhelmingly good about it. Thank you for the follow, Desert Drake. So I'm like... I don't think I can put it lower. I can't say it's bad. I think... Hang on a second. I have to go for a second. Okay, here we go. Missed the Warder analysis. That's not the Warder. Warder's in C tier. Warlord is in S tier because it's the Warlord. And it Warlords it up. Alright, so, no, yeah, the Shaman's blue. Yeah, the artwork is going to get a little confusing when things get mushed together. But I couldn't think of a better way to do the thumbnails. Like, the single ones look way better, obviously, but... Yeah, Elementalist has some strong builds. But, again, it doesn't, like, leap up way high. But I don't think it drops because it has good synergy, is all. So I think it's just average. It's going to sit in the C tier. Alright, demo... Necro is next. And that would be the Defiler, because D is for Defiler. There's so much non-synergy in here. It's hard to say if it's better than the Saboteur. I'd maybe say it's better than the Saboteur, but not by a lot. It's a very hard class to build around. I should know. I've tried several builds with it. I really wanted to make a Demolitionist Necromancer. Yeah, I did Aether Stunjacks, and that kind of fell apart. And then I tried a Vitality damage build. And I think that's what he's running right now. He has the full Blood Knight set with 2 pistols of like Gargable. And it's really not good. It can kill normal content stuff, but it's really like it could never handle upper level Shattered Realm. It requires like a ridiculous amount of legendary gear, and it just like the class combo just doesn't have support. I want to try a Blightlord setup with it and see if that works, but even then I'm sort of like it's probably going to be ho-hum. So yeah, it's just extreme anti-synergy just dumpsters that combination. Vortex of Souls, fire attack? Probably not. I'd probably do like you could build that, I think. Vortex of Souls with Aether Fire support. With like a pair of Albrecht's Dualities or something else that can convert Chaos to Aether. That would work. Yeah, so Defiler, it has some minor things in there, but it's not gonna win any rewards. So the Demo Inquisitor Purifier, I would say, is A tier. So all that talk with like the synergies in Elementalist and whatever synergies exist in the Sorcerer. Yeah, Sorcerer does those combos better. Lots of things do those combos better at the Necromancer. Yeah, so basically everything I said about the Elementalist is better in the Purifier. It can also, like, it runs all the lightning stuff. Oh, it also runs all the fire stuff. So, yeah, I would say Purifier is definitely in the A tier. Where did Sino dump this thing? Oh, B tier. I would say it's A tier. It's probably one of those classes where you could argue it's like this. But I think it's like an Elementalist, but like +2. Without some of the like clunkiness. I'd probably say it's your highest Demolitionist combo. I don't know Shield Breakers though. So I would definitely say it's really solid. And maybe top of B tier solid. Or lower A tier solid. Like it's definitely on that line. I need insights, chat. Are we gonna put this up to A tier? Or we can keep it at the top of the B tier? Aether Purifier, Chaos Purifier, Range Dual Wield, Two-Hand Dual Wield, Dual Wield Melee, Spicy Stronghold Memes, even though Stronghold Paladin is stronger. Upper A at minimum, close to S. Okay. Okay, let me ask this. is it better than a Commando? Because I don't think it's better than a Commando. No. There we go. So I'd maybe say like that. You could maybe argue it's better than the Blade Master, but then you start getting the weird. Like there are lots of weird like if the classes don't share each other, right? Then you start to get into the weird like which goes first. Commando is better at different things. That is true. They're not 1-to-1. Hey, Prince Xavier. Yeah, welcome to tier list discussions. We halfway through because it's 38 classes, right? 5, 8, 11, 14. Any combo that makes Mortar Trap usable gets a vote for A tier. So then should I move Sorcerer to A tier if that's a logical choice? Because I've seen Mortar Trap work in Sorcerers. Okay, A tier. I could go either way on the ordering on that, really. Yeah, holy shit, my screen is exploding build. I have that Sorcerer. I made it over the weekend. It's literally the character standing in like a white glow because of all the stuff stacking on each other. All right, so I'm gonna need a lot of insights on the Shield Breaker because it feels like it's upper B tier. In comparison to a Commando. But I don't know the Oathkeeper enough to render a judgment on it. Yeah, exactly, Zolnite. All the devastations. And I didn't even have a Anastaria or Outcast Secret. It was like Devastation. It was like Devastation, Meteor Shower. I was using Sky Shards with the Fire Conduit, so I had Fire Sky Shards worked in there too. Blackwater Cocktails. I don't think I had Canister Bomb. I might have though. Mortar Traps. It's really fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. I don't know how far I can take it in Shattered Realm. Anyways, yeah. Demolitionist, Oathkeeper, the Shield Breaker. To me, it seems like a weaker Commando. Like it does what Commandos are kind of doing in the similar style, but not as good. See, I think the defenses are fine. It's just like if we're doing comparisons to similar classes, I would probably be like, oh, the Commando and the Shieldbreaker are sort of cousins. And while good, I don't think the Shieldbreaker is as good as the Commando. Is that a fair consensus? Then again, I don't know Oathkeepers as well, because Oathkeeper brings more damage to the Guardians. You can basically make strong builds out of any of the skills with that combo, save for maybe Mortar Trap. So should I put it next to the Commando then, in the A tier? Button chat mull it over. I would have put background music on lower B. I might just average the opinions out and say B tier. See, yeah, I just think of it as Commando, but it's not as notable as the Commando. Higher than B tier. No, top of B tier. Top of B tier? Oh, okay. I thought you said higher than B tier. Okay. Okay, yeah. Top of B tier. I'm fine with that. Okay, so next class they released was the Nightblade. So Nightblade combos, we've done 3 of them, 2 of them. So Nightblade Occultist, the Trickster. So the Trickster, where are you? I'm being. Oh, there he is. The Trickster. Kind of, or Witch Hunter. Sorry, Trickster is the Shaman Occultist. The Witch Hunter. Excuse me. They're going in the same place. They're going in the same exact tier. Yeah, they're average. They're one of those like Spellbreaker is better. Because I mean, like a Reaper's probably about the same, but see, I would say it's like the Elementalist. Like there's some synergies in there. There's some builds in there, but it doesn't like leap out. It's just there. It's not difficult to get it going. It'd be difficult to make it like really high and hit and run. Yeah, hit and run Dreegs is fun. You have like 7k HP in Ultimate. That's always a pinch everything. It has strong builds, but yeah. I think the damage it can deal is obscene. And it's very easy to deal that damage because you just throw a Dreegs out and run away. But you don't have HP. You have 2 self heals, but you have to survive that first hit. And I would say going into something like high end Shattered Realm, oh man, that would be a maniac run through that. And then you have to fight bosses, and that would just be, you know that video of like that kid, like the little kid who has to who's like running away from chickens and he's screaming and crying while the chickens chase him because he's holding like a bag of seed. That is the Witch Hunter. Like that is exactly him. Especially if you were in a boss room with a lot of bosses, you would just be running around screaming, just waiting for them to keel over from poison, and you'd occasionally have to kind of stop to like throw a poison orb back on them or shadow strike them, and then you'd be back to just running away screaming. Yeah, exactly. You'd have to Dreegs and then Blade Barrier, and then you'd have to run away screaming. So yeah, I definitely would put that in the C tier. Nightblade Arcanist. I have always loved the Spellbreaker, and I am putting it in the A tier. Tell me why I am wrong. Well, Cino threw it in the D tier. And I will be willing to put it down into the B tier. I have always loved the Spellbreaker. I've always found it to be super strong. Strictly because of the Shadow Dance Myvan Sphere combination, where you're just reducing damage, but then you're also ignoring like half the damage that's coming at you. And then you can just build cold, and you have all the support for it. You have all of the support to get those cooldowns in Nightblade reset. Oh, it's all cold spellbreakers. That's the damage synergy there. But especially high SR, there's basically no ranged spellbreaker builds but Forgotten Gods. Also, remember, cold AAR is a thing now with a conduit. You could argue running Ludgren's set for that weird Panetti setup. I had a cold Panetti's Mage Hunter. That's not the same though. Now keep in mind, I haven't run a Spellbreaker in a long time, but I've seen it take down really high SR. And there are actually like some singularly good items like Soul Rend, Phantasmal Blade Spellbreaker. I do understand what you're saying though, Sino. It does kind of have the same problem the Witch Hunter has. But you do have Myvan's Sphere where, you know, I guess I'd say B tier maybe. Thank you for the follow, Voodley. Okay, let's drop it to upper B. I would definitely say it's better than Witch Hunter. By far. And Haroset exists now. And I could actually see Haroset being run with a Spellbreaker. I could see Chill Whisper being run with a Spellbreaker. Yeah, we'll tweak stuff as we go. Yes, a solo class is never as strong as a dual class. That's the way Grim Dawn's designed. It's designed around having two classes. We did do a solo tier list at the beginning of the stream, too. Alright, so Arcanist Shaman is the Druid. And I would put the Druid probably on par with the Sorcerer, if not a little better. But not any higher. Mage Slayer Spellbreaker too. I had that for a while. C tier for the Druid? Which scene will put it? C tier? Upper C tier? Not fun to you. See, I think the biggest problem is like... Actually, I'd probably put it lower than the Sorcerer. Because the Sorcerer gets at least some DA out of it. I could probably see upper C tier. It's just... Some of the Druid builds are really, really strong. That is true. I think I'm really biased towards Trojan Sky Shards. Because would you ever build a Primal Strike Druid or a Savagery Druid or a Panetti's Druid? Maybe you could do a Panetti's Druid. Say a lack of build variety could definitely kick it down. But I would definitely say it's better than an Elementalist. Ludgren Druid is doable. Actually, Ludgren Druid Sino is kind of obscene. Because you have so many totems out. And because of the way you can rotate your abilities, like the Panetti's hits hard. So yeah, I'd probably put it at the top of the C tier. Maybe lower end B tier. What class is an S tier? Soldier and Oathkeeper are S. That's fair. See, that was my bias coloring my opinion of putting it in B tier. But I'm willing to listen. Oh, buddy. You guys are going to have to change my mind on this one. Druids as the Vindicators exist. I'd probably say Warlord is the best class in the game. Alright, chat. Spellbinder for lower end S tier. Let me hear you. Sino's laughing at me. That's fine. Binders are like C tier now. This is me rolling a grenade in the chat and seeing what happens. Binder S tier. S tier's too damn high. Okay. Pure fun. They're good. Definitely top 50% combo. Say B plus tier. AAR spellbinders are very strong at the moment, but every other spellbinder build is mediocre. That's fair. So I have one person in pure agreement with me. Okay. So let's take spellbinders and put them... Because I definitely think they're better than a spellbreaker. I think the class synergies are way too good. So let's put them next to the Commando. Is that more fair? I mean, you're not wrong, Sino. Would you guys say it would be the best combination with the Arcanist? Because I would definitely say yes to that. Maybe Mage Hunter is better. But that's just because of synergies. It or Mage Hunter, like AA plus. And the return was what? Drain Essence? Calidors? I think the Arcanist just needs some resistance reduction, honestly. Sirach. That's been my argument pretty much all night. A tier is acceptable. Still don't know if there's any binder can compete with the likes of Blade Master, Tacticians, Commandos. That's fair. Well... How about that? By BM, you mean Blade Master, right? Because BM stands for two other things. Battle Mage. It's something that's basically the Battle Mage. If you know what BM means. It's poop. Okay. Battle Mage, S double. Yeah, I think we actually need to switch the Warlord and the Battle Mage. Alright, Arcanist and Inquisitor is the Mage Hunter. I have these two next to each other. So we'll keep them next to each other, but we'll put them in the tier lower from my sketched out tier list. Yeah, another issue with binders is they kind of get hard in comparison to VM Commando. Blade Masters works well by picking up Derpidon Slicers, going Pierces, and you have release 20, which is Pog. Put ES2 OST in the background unless you get a copyright strike. That's why I don't have music on. Hard to gear. Wait, Cena, what did you do for binders again? Didn't you trash them? Oh no, B tier. Binders and Mage Hunters are B. Okay. I mean, that's fair. See, I think they're definitely above average. Because like I said, C tier is supposed to be our average. No one high strong builds, and everyone has to weigh those points differently. Exactly. So if we did, let's say we did this for these two then. Put them at the front of B tier. Yeah, there's a lot to take into account for every tier list. And everyone has different things they look for. Because for me, it's build variety, how fun the class is, and how easy they are to gear. I don't necessarily look at, oh, this can go to this level of SR as a rating for it, because a lot of that can also be the person playing that particular class combo. Because I personally play Sorcerer better than I play pretty much anything in the game. Better than Spellbinder, but I think the Spellbinder is better than the Sorcerer. Yeah, I'd say Death Knight is the easiest starting class. The Soldier Necromancer. Because there is a legendary set that you can farm up from fixed positions. So it's easy, very easy to gear it. Now you won't be like jumping a Death Knight into like super high end game with it, but you can actually get it going into the end game of the campaign fairly easily. You could probably even take it into Nemesis farming with that set, and it would work perfectly fine. Yeah, so Mage Hunters and Spellbinders to me, they're basically at the same level-ish. Because they have super great synergies with themselves. But they're synergizing differently, right? Because one goes the Aether route, one goes the Elemental route. I would say anything in the campaign you can farm with the Death Knight. With the Krieg set. That is why he's sitting at the bottom of the B tier. Because I think, actually, I would pivot around the Death Knight for comparisons. Oh, that's Sino's tier list. Just copy the image link for you. Yeah, so we got that. Okay, Templar. I need help on the Templar. I like legitimately need help with the Templar, because to me it'd be like a B tier thing, like a Death Knight level thing, but harder to farm. The problem is I can't think of builds to run in it that aren't like Vire's Might running around skating, min-maxing your cooldown reduction. So it's either bottom. Yeah, it's bottom of B or top of C. Like, I think it has. It just has that averageness. Like, look at that. Look, we have one Arcanist that is not in the middle of the tier list. Because I said it at the very beginning when we were doing the single classes. Arcanist is the averagest class mastery in the game. I mean, I'd be fine with it even right here. Because it's a bleh. I could see a weird build with like Judgment and Calidors, or trying to use your Guardians, or just Arcana. What? Yeah, the single tier list. It's not as important as the dual tier list. We're definitely getting in the home stretch now. Did I skip the Warlock? No, because I skipped the Occultist. Because the Occultist was technically after the Nightblade. Okay, oopsie. How could I forget the Occultist? Was it pre-Nightblade? Whoopsie. How could I forget the Occultist? Um, I think I maybe did forget that it was pre Nightblade, wasn't it? Yeah, that's my bad. I did because when I was ordering this, I literally did this like when I got home and then I ate, and then I was like, oh, I need to make my thumbnails, and I just sped through it. I'm like, it went Soldier, Demo, Nightblade, Occultist, Arcana, Shaman, and I did Necro, Inquisitor, Oathkeeper, and like in my mind for whatever reason, the Nightblade was the third class, not Occultist. Whoopsie. All right, so that would mean we need Occultist, Arcanist, Warlock. I am non-committal on the Warlock. I think it is part of the Captain Average series of here's what was most OP. Oh my god. Sino, do you remember when Tacticians had that one set that gave like a shit ton of pierce damage? The Valdoon set? God, that was dumb. Oh god, and it even had like the piercing blades passives, and you could equip offensive stuff to it. Oh god, that makes me want to throw up. You didn't miss much. I accidentally did the when I ordered this tier when I ordered the thumbnails. I did Nightblade before Occultist. It's not a big deal, but we did the Nightblade before the Occultist. Now we're going back and doing Occultist stuff. So the Warlock. I think on my paper here on my list I wrote up at work. I put it in C tier with the intention of putting it on the low end of C tier, strictly because of well no, it's upper D tier, lower C. Put it in C. We're not going to use Spell Scourge. It's just there's nothing to it. It's better than certain combos though because of like weird synergies you get with like Black Flame Scourge, which is getting buffed by the way. Black Flame Scourge is gonna get buffed, or so I've heard. I mean, if we're talking like, if we're putting like the Witch Hunter in C, I could see it being a little better than a Witch Hunter, honestly, strictly because of Myvan Sphere and Mirror. Yeah, Black Flame. It has Clairvoyant if you want to run Clairvoyant. I really want to see like the Dreeg's Trojan Conduit combo. See if that's actually any good. I think it's in this like this weird set of classes where they don't synergize well, but they aren't poor together, and they require a lot of running around, and they're pretty squishy. It's just Warlock's just there. What would be next? Probably the Warlock Shaman. So Ritualist. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not that it's definitely not D tier to me, but it's not great. Yeah, Warlord is super defensive. So I would probably put Ritualist. We're going to skip Ritualist. I have to make a point here. I'd put the Conjurer in A tier. Because for the reasons I put Death Knight in B tier, for being very easy to build, but not having build variety, I would put Conjurer in A tier because it's easy to build. And I would actually say it has build variety. Because all you need is Vitality. Oh, that's Cabalist. I meant that one. Conjurer. I mean, the Cabalist is probably right there too, right? It's just a slightly worse version of... It's probably a slightly worse version of Yeah, I would definitely say these two are A tier because the vitality synergies are just too good. They're really, really tough because of it. All of that lifesteal. On one end you have like the Wendigo totems. The other end you have like Mark of Torment. On one end you have like Vitality and Aether Shred. On the other hand you have Curse. You have pet builds in both of them. Yeah, while we're here, I mean, we might as well throw the Ritualist next to that. Ritualist, you could maybe say it goes like this. Like it's like because it's like the other two classes just slightly ticked down. Maybe I'd put it like here. I mean, I could see arguments for lowering it, but I think just from the nature. Yeah, exactly, Sino. It's basically. Yeah, I'd put it in B. The Ritualist is basically the Conjurer and Kabbalist, but not as good. I would probably put it in this field of characters right here. I can almost see putting like another B tier in here just to split this in half. All right, anyone want to tell me where the Deceiver goes? Because I'm just going to put it here for now. And then the Sentinel. Sentinel is definitely one I need opinions on. Deceiver, I just don't know what it does. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play it, and I don't know where it would fit in any setup. Existence of Harbinger and Rosin. See, that's the thing. I'm going off of old information for the Deceiver, so I could maybe put it up in C somewhere for new sets. Also, the tier list, you definitely want it to have this spike. If when we're done with this, we have everything or most things in A, B, C, and a little in D, I think we're going to be in a good spot. Oh, also, I don't take into account super boss kills at all. Okay, it has strong builds. Does it have any... So, is it one of those... Because to me, it seems like one of those classes where maybe it has strong builds, but it doesn't have, like, a lot of them. Like, it has strong builds, but everything else is kind of eh. Because that's what it kind of seems like to me. Put it in C. That's where it is right now. I put it in C. C is average. Purifier has Radagon going for it. I mean, you can convince me to put it higher if you want, Sino. The Purifier we stuck in the A tier. Middle of the A tier. All right, let me ask you this. So, Deceiver, is it better than a Warder? Or for a little maybe more apt comparison, better than a Druid? Or is it about equal to a Druid? Would it be better than a Pyromancer? Because I think it actually would probably fall about equal with that. Doing B tier, Deceiver with confidence, because there's a lot of ways to do it, and many are good, but not anything overly amazing. Okay. What if I did Deceivers then at the very bottom of B? Yeah, because to me, it's like, I could also see it at the top of C. Because you've listed some really good points. And you've listed a bunch of builds and set items. So maybe we could say it has a lot of build variety, but that requires gearing, which in my rules would lower it a little bit. There's a few Artisan and Harbinger. You can use Obsidian Juggerman. You can use two-hand range weapons of Harbinger. Also, the strongest Flames of Ignifar build in the game. I totally forgot about Flames of Ignifar. Yeah, and Sentinel. I need info on Sentinel. Because it's Oathkeeper, and I don't know Oathkeeper at all. So Sino says D tier. Sino has it way at the bottom. Talentless Claude says it doesn't seem good. Because to me, it almost seems like it's an anti-Witchblade. Like, we put Witchblade up here in the B tier because it was almost like Commandos and Blade Masters, but wasn't as good. But like this, it's like, it's just not the same. Yeah, when we get into the Oathkeeper stuff, I'm relying on your guys' opinion. Because I just haven't seen any. Shieldbreaker for Chaos Spin the Wind. Yeah, could see that too. Acid Retail is fine-ish. I mean, I'm fair at dumping it right there. Oh, we have 2 Shaman setups. Vindicator. So Vindy, I have in the A tier. And I have Indy in the A tier. Because people told me it was good. And it seems like it would be kind of like a B tier, and everyone told me it's A tier. You don't know, to be honest. Yeah. Because it to me, it seems like a better version of an Elementalist. So technically that would be like top of the B tier. But we did talk about at length the Purifier being good. And I think the Vindicator would be good for the same reasons, but for lightning. To me, it feels about the same as a Mage Hunter, though. Like, it's maybe a better Mage Hunter for doing lightning. So yeah, I'm fine bottom of A tier. And the Archon. Am I going blind? Am I just not seeing an Archon on your list? Oh, up here, an A tier. I legitimately don't know where the Archon goes, so someone tell me. Wait, I missed one. I missed a couple. We missed all the Nightblade stuff. Hang on a second. We can't go to Archon yet. Wait, we'll just do Archon. Cyclone set is Omega strong. I think a great build variety for your Archon. Cyclone set is awesome. Archon is for B or A. I'd A for a lot of variety only already. Acid Retail Archon, let go. Like, if Archon had even one other really good way to build it, the Cyclone Settle and would push it to S tier for you. Okay. Alright, so would you say... Let's ask. Is it better than the Vindicator? Yes. Just... Okay, we got Vindicator. Is it better than our 2 Vitality guys? Sirach says no. Arcana says yes. Better than the Conjurer and Kabbalist? Better than Purifier, worse than Blade Master. Not sure if I agree with that ordering. Oh. I mean, honestly, when we get into ordering like that, like we're like hedging +1s here. Yeah, that makes sense. So would you guys say it has more build variety than... So better than Vindy, at least. Also has Vitality ways to build it, Wild Blood and whatnot. There's a lot of ways to build Archon. It's really... Okay, so it has good... So it has a lot of good builds and one great build. So yeah, that's like lower A tier. I definitely say that's lower A tier. Alright, so we had some Nightblades down here I forgot to sort. Because I got all effed up with my ordering. So... Nightblade Shaman. Nightblade Shaman, everyone. The Trickster. I legitimately can't think of what the build is here. Trickster's A for you. Has it gotten that much better? C tier, average, made a meme build. See, I was going to say it was like... It's very much like the Witch Hunter. Where it has like an extremely strong potential build, but it's like... So it has one build. Cold Corbo, Cold ROS. So a couple, maybe like one really good build and then like one or two. That's like C tier. That's our average criteria. I think it's funny that Sirach is praising a Corba build and Jin is Dan's gaming a Corba build. Well, I threw Archon into A because everyone said it had one great build, but it also had a lot of good builds. So that's criteria for upper B, lower A, and it's in lower A right now. But Trickster, what I'm hearing from you guys, is it has one really good build, and the rest are just, they're okay. And that would be criteria for C. It would just depend on where in C tier we're going to go. In front of Elementalist? In front of Pyro? Or, sorry, Warder. In front of Pyro? In front of Elementalist? Make a tier list for every legendary set. I wish I still had my webcam, because you would have seen a look out of my eyes. Warder's better than Trickster. Because to me, it's another one of these, like just, I don't know. It's a bleh to me. Reaper is D for die, die, die. I want to like the Reaper too. It's just, I want, oh man, I would love to have just that edgelord character who's just got like 2 daggers that are just like glowing and bleeding at the same time, and he's in all black, like the blackest of the blackest black costumes, and he's like shadow striking around, and he's talking in a deep raspy voice, and then it's like I look at the class and I'm like, how does this work? Because I think of it like a spellbreaker, but oh, okay, see, no. I'm just like, I don't know what I like. There's gear for it, but I don't know any of the builds that work for it that aren't done better by other classes. I don't know if I want to show Xantai my tier list. Yeah, I just don't. I just don't know. Aether Shadow Strike is. It's a definite maybe, right? It's one of those like, I could see that working. I could also see that working in like 3 other classes. It's definitely D tier. It's just in that tier of like, I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, so Infiltrators, huh? Like, all that stuff I said about Spellbreakers and how much I love Spellbreakers and how good I think Spellbreakers are, even though we B tiered them, I think the Mage Hunter takes everything the Spellbreaker is and makes it better. The synergies, the support skills, the builds, the damage, the sets. Easy S tier. I wouldn't say it's broken, but definitely goes. Definitely is like, it definitely goes in like that section of builds, section of classes where it's like these are what other classes want to be. This is what the Spellbreaker wants to be. This is what the Reaper wants to be. Hell, I'd even say this is what the Druid wants to be. So yeah, that's yeah, definitely up there. Now I don't know about Dervish. I didn't even know the damn name of this thing. Um Dervish. Where'd Sino put the Dervish? B tier? Alright. Dervishes, everyone. What do they do? I don't know what they do. I want to say maybe upper B. Poison. Acid Dervish stuff. So we got a build. Does it have more than one build? And is that build really strong? And are all the other builds, good? Because that's how we'll determine where we put the Dervish. Get some OKs. Vit Dervish. So it's sounding more and more like it's maybe in the lower Bs. Where'd Cena throw it again? B tiers. Here, Acid Dervish with Venom Blade set can face tank super bosses. It's good to know. Yeah, literally the Oppressor and the Paladin I also am going to need a lot of insights on. I know where the Apostate's going. Don't you worry about that. So Dervishes can do maybe physical Dervish. Because I seem to remember seeing a lot of a couple builds on the forum already when I looked at this stuff earlier. Really strong acid build. Fire Dervish is also really strong for no fucking reason. So I'm seeing lots of go Bs then. We're also seeing like pushing it closer to A. So if we put it at maybe the top of the B tier, would Mage Hunter and Spellbinder be better? A better comparison. Maybe is it better than a Spellbreaker? So just Witch Hunter's more variability. That's fair. Okay. Maybe like that. Because if it's squishy, then it's probably squishier than if it's squishy, then it's probably about the same as a Spellbreaker. And my own natural biases towards the Spellbreaker make me want to put it in front. Yeah, you know it's coming in. All right. Do I need to explain that? Putting the Apostate just in the D tier? It's so Talentless Claude, my rule on the tier list is the E tier is strictly reserved for the Battle Mage only. But I look at it like a Saboteur. It's like, what do? Right? It's like, what does this even do? Where am I going to start a build? What are my combinations? Yeah, Battle Mage is the only class combo in the game I would call bad. Because I could see, even the Apostate, I could see making a meme build out of. Even the Saboteur, I could see a build coming out of that class combo. Hell, I could see two builds coming out of Saboteur, coming out of Defiler, coming out of Sentinel, coming out of Reaper. I can see builds out of all of these. In the Apostate, I can see builds. Yeah, Bonemonger Apostate. I literally can't think of a build for the Battle Mage. Even the Krieg set that makes the Death Knight so easy to play doesn't save the Battle Mage. It's such an anti-synergy with itself. I just can't like give it anything higher than an E right now. It's the only one. Did you really put Apostate in the B? Wait, did you? No, you didn't. Oh yeah, you did. You put it way high in the B. I know there's builds for it. I just don't think it's like that. Like, we could argue about it though. But I think everyone's just like is just like, there's nothing to this, and then Bonemonger. And that was it. Alright, Oppressors and Paladins. Oppressor in B. And Paladin in B. Okay. I just realized I went into almost like that Blizzard presentation style. Nephilim of Sanctuary, Oppressors and Paladins of Grim Dawn, Heroes of the Storm. That game's not around anymore. Heroes of Overwatch. And the crowd is just like, we brought our phones this time. Dual wield range bowmonger converting everything to Aether. Let's go. Apostate is bowmonger is great, and people are making Aether apostate builds on Grim tools since before. I should not learn something to work. Yeah, but Paladin A, huge amount of build variety. See, I was gonna put both these in upper B. Because I think maybe the Oppressor is like the... Actually, I think it would probably be lower A. Because I think the Oppressor is like a Death Knight but better. It does all the Death Knight things, but it's like Death Knight's bigger brother. But in the same vein, I think maybe Paladin is a worse tactician. So they would be like here and here. Also, we're going to be tweaking everything in here. So we're not done yet. We're getting close though, which is good because I have to pee and I'm out of water. All right, so a Purifier Commando hybrid. All right, so let's start making adjustments. So in S tier, we have the Warlord and the Infiltrator. Is there anything from the upper parts of A tier we should move to S tier? So we got a Tactician, the Commando, Purifier, Blade Master. I would say are all potential candidates. Move Blade Master into S. That's not going to happen. Can already tell you Blade Master's not S. I would have put Commando in S first. Witchblade and B into S. So move Witchblade up is what I'm hearing. Where do you put Witchblade? A tier. Warborn Witchblade has been a staple physical damage since the dawn of Warborn. I don't disagree. All right, I do need to ask. Would I move Tactician and possibly Commando into S tier first? I want to make sure I have my split on S and A proper before we start moving other things around. Because I definitely don't think Purifier goes into S. Purifier we could probably even move down in A compared to some of the other things. Wouldn't you tact? I actually think put it in A. Because the only reason I would say Commando for S tier was what I mentioned when we started the list. Was Commando has always been a staple combination. In fact, I'm going to put Commando at the top of A tier no matter what. Because I think it is the most consistent class in the game. And it has maintained its consistency through all of the buffs and nerfs and adjustments and difficulty additions and gearing and everything added to Grim Dawn, the first class combo ever, still that consistent. So I've gotten 2 votes for Blademaster Ness. But see, for Blademaster, I just think it's like, it has, but Blademaster took a big dip for a while. Like, it's been around for a while, and everyone seems to like it because it's the, like, it's your like weapon master, right? It's your combat guy, at least until like the Inquisitor was added to the game. But I think it's definitely less consistent than the Commando. Now you could argue Purifier versus Blademaster, and that I could flip them. But yeah, I think Commando and Tactician you could argue S tier or high A tier. They're like A pluses to me. See, I don't think the Blademaster is actually a higher end Commando. I think the Commando just, like, they do virtually the same things. It's just I think the Commando's done it at the same level for longer and just more consistently. Yeah, exactly, Jen. And I think the Blademaster, it's like a weaker Tactician to me. So I mean, I could see doing that. And you know what, Sino, you mentioned trends, and in my own tier list, I'm seeing a trend. I mentioned the Arcanist is the most average thing in the game, and we have one Arcanist that is not in the middle of the list. And we have the soldiers at the top and like in the middle and on the bottom. The Necromancer is actually, it's like a flattened out Arcanist because it's spread all over. And it looks like the Occultist is either good or really bad. All right, so Sino is putting forth that the Witchblade should be moved up the list. Yeah, Shaman is solidly in the middle too. Because you got some Shamans in A, Shamans in B, Shamans in C. That's actually a little surprising to me. See, I think it's because it's one of those things where the Shaman, because I rated the Shaman really low. My mouse is dying. The Shaman really low on the single tiers, while it's average over here. But I think that's just because the Shaman is lifted up by the other classes, to be honest. And like I said, the Shaman actually provides great support. Witchblade at the forefront of A. So should it go with its other soldier brethren? Okay. Because the thing is, like, having a really good cadence build, to me, is not enough to... Yeah, you did say that. Okay. Copy that link. Okay, this is Sino's updated list. I mostly agree with that. Like that's a really solid look at it too. Archon, yeah. The obviously it's an Oathkeeper, so I don't know Oathkeepers as well. But I was told that it has a really great build, and then all of its other builds are really good. And that's qualifications for A tier. I mean, technically A plus is the S tier. Sino. Because like I said, A tier, this is like you got a 90 on all of your exams. Like the cutoff for that is like 90. Oh, it depends on where you went to school, but it's like sometimes it's 99 to 91. Sometimes it's like 97 to 90. Sometimes it's 95 to 90. So we could make an argument to do this. Because I think wherever, like, you could argue also tack before Commando, but I mean, you can make a lot of arguments for that type of thing. And I believe we had him way down there because I listened to a lot of opinions. Damage stats are strong right off the bat because your point investment is pretty low. Just need Curse, FW, basically good to go. Yeah, I think you're convincing me to move the Witchblade in the A tier. I just don't know where in A tier. Because I would definitely say it's better than a Death Knight. But it's definitely not a Tactician. And I don't know that I would rate it above these two, right? The Kabbalist and Conjurer. So we could put it with them though, because it would just be another Occultist combines with a thing it works well with. Well, Jin, my favorite combo is like the King of the B tier. I could make arguments for sorcerers being way better than putting them in the B tier, but the sorcerers staying in the B tier because I can take my own personal biases out of this stuff. Okay, so what we have so far. This is the one like tech. So what we have so far, we have Warlord and Infiltrator are definitely S tier, and you could argue Tactician in S or in A tier, correct? Because I like it. It could go in either one. It's straddling that line. I think it's still incredibly good. It's just not as good as these two, but at the same time, I would still put it maybe a step above the other two soldier warrior types. Then in A tier, so far we have the Commando, the Blade Master, the Purifier, the Conjurer, the Kabbalist, the Witchblade, the Archon, and the whatever the heck that one was called. Oh god, my brain is starting to turn to mush. The Vindicator. For B tier, we have the Oppressor, the Paladin, the Mage Hunter, the Spellbinder, the Spellbreaker, the Dervish, Ritualist, Shieldbreaker, Sorcerer, Death Knight. And Death Knight is kind of where, like, if there was a B minus C plus right here, it would only have the Death Knight in my opinion, because this is our crux. This is like the halfway point between, like, oh, this class is like excelling and this class is average to below average. Because for C tier, which I would actually say is average, like we define that as average, but really it's B and C together is probably the average. This is the top of the bell curve right here, which it is actually a bell curve. We have the Deceiver, the Templar, the Druid, the Warder, the Pyromancer, the Elementalist. Told you my brain's going to mush. Warlock, Witch Hunter, Trickster. And then in D tier, we have the Reaper, the Sentinel, Defiler, Saboteur, Apostate, and then E tier is the Battle Mage tier. Yeah, now, in shuffling some things around, like Sirach brings up the point that Infiltrator might actually be higher on the S tier because of build variety. Because let's face it, the Warlord's thing is it just never dies. But you can kind of fill in builds maybe with that. And then we have the Infiltrator. And the Infiltrator, you know, not too shabby itself, being the S tier. But it's like, I think for shuffling around these two, I could see arguments either way. Like, we're starting to get into this, like, going back and forth on, like, little pluses and minuses. Like I said, we're shaving plus ones now, to the point where we kind of have to, like, say, that's that, at least for now, because we can always come back to this at a later date when buffs and nerfs happen. Yeah, it's yeah, it's just they're both A pluses. It's like you could interchange them, I think, and it'd still be fine. Tactician is the one where I don't know if I want it in A or S, because I could see it like that too. Anywhere higher than E, well, we established the rule that the Battle Mage is the only thing that can go down there, so that's it. Yeah, but it's, to me, like, either way, I would look at the tier list and be like, yep, those are the S tiers. No, the Kabbalist is the highest the Necro has. Because I put it with the Conjurer, because they're not the same class, but they're so similar that they're basically cousin. They're practically brother / sister classes, because they're both gonna build very, very, very similarly, at least in terms of the damage typing and style of combat. And they're both in the A tier because they're pretty easy to pull together, and they both run Vitality, I think one would run Chaos, one would run Aether. They can both run Poison. They can both run Pets. And there's all the gear to support pretty much everything. So yeah, let's put the tack at the top of A. I mean, I'm fine with what we came up with. If anyone sees anything, let me know. Man, like, I'm going to put this on YouTube, and I can't wait to see the comments, man. It's going to be so fun. Yeah, like, I think the Nightblade on paper is really good. It's when you start mix and matching it, you start getting in the problems. Like, I actually think we have one Nightblade in A tier, and that is no, we have two Nightblades in high tier. Yeah, where did you put the Infiltrator? Oh, up top. But yeah, most Nightblades to me are like a lot of controversy / Battle Mage fans. Legitimately, all three of them, I can deal with those comments. So hello to the 3 Battle Mage fans out there. I'm sorry I ragged on the Battle Mage so much. It's the class I want to play most. I'm not gonna lie. It's the class when the Arcanist was first added. That was the class I wanted to main. I made a Battle Mage. Like I made that first Arcanist for Aether Ray, and then I made a Battle Mage at the same time. And that Aether Ray Arcanist I did was gonna just be an Aether Ray character, and then I was gonna forget it and focus on the Battle Mage because I wanted to build Aether Ray. And then like I just couldn't make it work in early access, and I couldn't make it work on release, and I could make it work with Ashes with Kriegs, and then they nerfed Kriegs. Because they gave it to the Death Knight, too. And then they nerfed it because of that. And I was like, well, goodbye Battle Mage again. Like, the Battle Mage is still the class I would want to make a build for the most. And I have tried so many times to do it. I have built... like I still had it with Kriegs for a while, and then I built like a Battle Mage with Spell Scourged because I really wanted to make it work, and it didn't. And I might have to put him back in Kriegs just to have him playable again. But even with Kriegs, it was very like slow. It was just slow at everything. It walked slow. And then I worked on getting it movement speed, and it was still felt slow, and it just, everything about it felt slow. It's hard as hell to kill. Like, that's the thing. Like, Sino mentions Myvan Sphere and Mirror with it. And yeah, it is really hard to kill that thing. It doesn't do anything. And that's sort of like the issue, actually, Sino. If it actually becomes good, it's gonna become good. If the Battle Mage gets strong, it is going to be strong. Well, the thing about the Krieg set is it was actually, like, incredibly good when it first came out. Everyone was building Battle Mages, and everyone was building Death Knights, and it was like... I think because it was Death Knights was what really drew the attention to it, because everyone wanted a Death Knight because they're called Death Knights. Alright. See you later, Sino. Thank you for coming. It's nice to have the discussion. Yeah, I think we did okay on it. I think it should be... Should be funny, at least. But yeah, I'll be sure to, if I remember, link the solo tier list and the group tier list, or dual class tier list, in the description section when I put this up. I'll probably just do it as one video with the single and dual classes tier lists together, so I don't have to deal with making Twitch highlights. So, yeah, but like the battle mage, like I really want one. Like I really want a battle mage to just work. I can't think of a single way to build it though. That would be strong. It's gonna require like the Arcanist getting a. I think it is the Arcanist more needs something to make it work. And I think it's a resistance reduction between the two that's the biggest hampering for it. I can't think of any other class that has that level of problem with that concept. Like even the physical stuff on like Kalidor's Tempest and Electra's Flash Freeze, that actually would fix the problem. If Electra's Flash Freeze was allowed to actually hit bosses, it doesn't have to freeze them, it just has to hit them so it applies its resistance reduction. That would actually be a huge boon to the battle mage. Because suddenly that opens up physical damage and fire damage. Anyway, yeah, you could probably argue little ups and downs here within the tiers. You could probably argue stuff that's at the bottom or the top of a tier could be moved up or down. But I think we've got a pretty solid looking tier list here. I don't know how close Cino and I got with stuff, but I'm sure we had some things and some trends that match up. And yeah, like, just by example, he has the Spellbinder with two things and then the Mage Hunter. And I just have Spellbinder and Mage Hunter next to each other, but it's the same tier. So yeah, I think that will cover our tier list stream. So what we're going to do on Thursday is probably just play some Grim Dawn. I don't know what I'm going to work on, but we'll definitely pick something up. Actually, going through the tier list gave me a lot of ideas for things that I could upgrade that I built before, or we could work on starting. So yeah, we'll cover that on Thursday though. Anyone have any final thoughts on the tier list? I actually had a lot of fun doing this, and I could see doing it again for
Hi there.
Something else entirely. Thank you for the follow, Andrew. Because I could see like tier listing a bunch of different stuff. Like even just picking random tier things off of Tier Maker would be really, really fun. Oh, Monster Hunter weapons? I could do Monster Hunter weapons. I'd have to do some minor research on it though. And that actually Monster Hunter, that's harder to do than the classes in Grim Dawn, because I'm a pretty strict adherent to the weapon. The best weapon in Monster Hunter is the weapon you're best with. Because like I can't use a bow, even though you could probably argue empirically the bow is the best weapon because of its times at killing things. But I would be very terrible with it. And then it's like something like heavy bowgun is good and it's fast, but it really, really shines in groups when you have 4 heavy bowguns or 3 heavy bowguns and a light bowgun. But there are also certain things like gun lance. You could practically have 3 gun lances in your tier list for wide shots, long shots, and normal shots. And actually, that's the tier right there. That's the order you put them in. But it's like, the gun lance is like, oh, it deals fixed damage, which means certain monsters the gun lance is way better against than other weapons. So yeah, like, I could do Monster Hunter weapons, but there's a lot of subjective stuff in there that would make it a little rough to do. I think the weirdest one I could do is Grand Blue characters. But we'd have to go element by element like that, and it's like, I don't know if there are tier lists for the individual elements on Tier Maker. I mean, we could just group them together on the tier. Because a high tier Grand Blue character is, there's not like, within like the S tier for Grand Blue, there's not like an order you put the characters in. There's kind of like certain characters are a little better than certain others at the same rating, but still. Yeah, I think that's there is a Grand Blue waifu / husbando tier list on Tier Maker. I stumbled upon it when I was looking at Tier Maker to see how it worked. On stream, actually. So yeah, I think that's going to cover tonight's stream, though. I will actually make a list. So I won't have it for Thursday. I think I might have to do it over the weekend. I'll maybe do that text list of the tier list again, where I describe what defines each tier, and I can give a short description for each class combo, why it's in that tier. So I'll probably do that and have that in my description below the stream. And for YouTube, I should have the link to the completed tier list and the template, should you guys want to make your own. So yeah, that's the stream. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll be back on Thursday around 5 to 6 o'clock EST for some actual Grim Dawning. So have a great night. Have a great Wednesday. And I will see you guys next time.